Morning students, today we are going to study about MRP2, that is Manufacturing Resource Planning. Manufacturing Resource Planning is the advanced version of the MRP, that is Material Requirement Planning. So before going to MRP2, we'll first understand some basic about or brief introduction of the MRP, that is Material Requirement Planning. Okay, this is Q actually, Material Requirement Planning. So MRP is a technique that converts master schedule of an product into the detailed schedule of the raw materials and component used in that end product. Okay, so MRP is a technique with the help of which we can get the detailed schedule for the requirement of raw material and component that are required for end product based on its master schedule. Okay, so it is the detailed schedule that identifies the quantities of each raw material and component required. Okay, it also indicates that when each item must be ordered and delivered to meet the master schedule for final product. Okay, when we should deliver and order the component according to the master schedule, we can identify. Okay, MRP often thought as a method of inventory control also. Okay, it is very useful in production scheduling and purchasing of material. Okay, it is useful for scheduling a production and purchasing of material. So in MRP we need to identify distinction between the dependent component and independent component. Okay, so for independent component, as we know, demand is also independent. Okay, so independent demand pattern, as it does not depend on any other component's demand, so we need to use some technique to find its requirement. Okay, the technique is called as forecasting. Okay, so we use forecasting to calculate the demand pattern of independent component. Okay, and for dependent demand patterns, they are derived from the fact that the items of a component depends on other product. Okay, next, the master schedule, based on which we are preparing the detailed schedule of raw material, provides the overall production plan for final product. Okay, in terms of monthly basis. Okay, each product we know has hundred of individual components. Okay, if we talk about the automobile or a car, the car has hundreds or thousands of components. Okay, so these components are produced, all these components are produced of different raw materials. Okay, some of which can be common, but mostly they are different. Okay, so we have to prepare the detailed plan of each component. Okay, for example, several components may be made out of same gauge sheet metal. Okay, suppose this is a sheet metal, so we can cut various shape component from this. Okay, sheet metal. Okay, and the components are assembled into sub assembly. Suppose these are assembled to some sub assembly. Okay, and these are assembled to sub assembly, and this sub assembly is connected to another sub assembly. Okay, and finally they are connected to some final product, which is suppose P. Okay, so this is how it becomes very complex. Again, if we take an example of a car has multiple components. Okay, so if we categorize all these components and its sub assembly, so it will become a very complex sub assembly system. Okay, until a final product is assembled. So each step in manufacturing and assembly sequence takes time, and all these factors must be incorporated into MRP calculation. So for proper planning, we have to add each and every detail of these components and its sub-assembly into MRP, material requirement planning calculation. Okay, so as we know, the data is so large in material requirement planning, so it is practically very impossible to handle this data manually. So we use computer softwares to handle these data. Okay, next is working of MRP system. So MRP system has three inputs basically. One is master production schedule, next is inventory record file, and third is bill of material. Okay, and the output is plan order release for purchasing and manufacturing. Okay, this is the output for of manufacturing, or sorry, material requirement planning system. Okay, this is how the complete MRP system works. The MRP processor operates on data contained in MPS. So the processor of this system operates on the data based on MRP. MRP is master production schedule. The data in master production schedules are obtained from sales order, the number of sales we have in last period, and next data we obtain from sales forecast. Based on previous sales, we forecast some sale for the future. Okay, next the data based on spare part requirements. So we collect the we design the master production schedule based on these data. Okay, so this is the input for MPS. Okay, next the BOM file, that is bill of material file, and inventory record file. So the master schedule specifies the period by period list of final product required. Okay, maybe weekly or monthly requirement of final product is specified in MPS master production schedule, that is based on these inputs. Okay, next is BOM. Next input is BOM, that is bill of material, that defines what material and components are required for each end product. Okay, how much material and component are required for end product, that is defined in bill of material. Inventory record file contains the data related to the current and future inventory status of each product, component and material. Clear? Next, the MRP processor computes how many each of the component and raw material are needed for the end product requirement. Okay, so the MRP system calculates the requirement of number of components or raw material based on these inputs. Okay, so this is the basic structure of MRP system. Clear? We'll see in detail the inputs of MRP system. Number one input is MPS, that is master production schedule. Number two is bill of material. Number third is inventory record file. MPS list what the end product is required and how many of each are to be produced and when they should be produced. Okay, for the shipment. The manufacturing firm generally work on monthly delivery, but the master production schedule figures out weekly requirement. Okay, so master production schedule will have the weekly requirement of end product. Next is bill of material. This file is used to compute the raw material and component requirement for the end product that is listed in master schedule. Okay, so according to the master schedule, what is the requirement of what is the requirement of component and material is recorded in this file. Okay, so it provides the information on product structure by listing the component parts and sub assemblies that make the end product. Clear? Next, third input is inventory record file. So it refers to the item of master file in a computerized inventory system. Okay, so this type of data contains in three segments. First is item master data. So item master data provides the items identification and other data about the part, such as its quantity and lead time. Okay, lead time is the time between placing an order and receiving an order. So this item master data contains these details: identification, quantity and lead times. Next is inventory status. So inventory record file contains inventory status. So this gives time-based record of inventory status that not only know the current status of inventory but also the future changes that will be required in inventory according to the changes in master production schedule. Okay, therefore the inventory status lists the gross requirement, okay, gross requirement of the component, scheduled receipt, on hand status and plan order releases. Okay, so inventory status will contain the list of gross requirement, okay, scheduled receipt, on hand inventory and plan order. Clear? Third segment is subsidiary data. Okay, so it provides the data on purchase order, scrap or reject. So this is also a kind of inventory. So the it will have the data of purchase order, scraps and engineering changes. Okay, some additional data of these type. Next is the output of MRP system. Okay, the output was plan order release that provides the authority to place order that have been planned by MRP system. So we'll release that order. Second output could be the report of planned order release in future period also. Third output is rescheduling notices. These rescheduling notices indicates the change in due dates for open orders. Okay, open orders means orders uh, that have been placed already. Next output would be cancellation of notices. These notices indicate that the open orders have been cancelled because of changes in master production schedule. Okay. Next output could be the reports on inventory status, and sixth output could be the performance report of various types, like cost, indicating cost, item usage, actual versus planned order lead time. Okay, this type of various performance report. Next, last output would be the execution reports. Execution reports that shows the deviation from scheduled order that are overdue. Okay, and some scrap type. The next output could be inventory forecast. Inventory forecast indicates the inventory level in future periods, requirement of inventory levels of future period. So that all these would be the outputs of MRP system. Okay, the benefits. What are the benefits of this material requirement planning? So this may be the reduction of inventory. So the proper planning of each component's material requirement can reduce the level of inventory. Okay, so as we have a good coordination, so we can quickly respond to the changes in demand that is possible with manual requirement planning system. Okay, next benefit could be reduced setup time and changeover time cost. And the next benefit is better machine utilization, even better utilization of everything, material, machine and manpower. Next benefit could be improved capacity to response change in master schedule. Okay, so these are the outputs and some of the benefits of material requirement planning. So next we will see some product structure for a product P1. Okay, a structure of product structure for P1. Okay, as we can see, P1 is our end product. Okay, it has two sub assembly part, S1 and S2. So we can see for 1 unit of P1 we need 1 unit of S1 and 2 unit of S2. Okay, and for making this sub assembly S1 we need 3 components, C1, C2 and C3. Okay, similarly for S2 we need C4 component, C5 component and C6 component, and they are made of M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, M6 materials. Okay, so 1 unit of S1 required 1 unit of C1, 2 unit of 4 unit of C2 and 1 unit of C3. Similarly, for making 1 unit of S2 we need 2 unit of C4, 2 unit of C5 and 1 unit of C6. So this is all we can identify or we can find from this product structure. Okay, so we can see this product P1 composed 2 sub assemblies, and each sub assembly has 3 component requirement. Okay, so for the all bottom level raw material, okay, that goes into each component, the item that are successively at higher level are called as parent, okay, of the item that are at lower level or below level. Clear? We'll see one example. Suppose based on this master production schedule, we can see for this product P1 we have the requirement of 50 units in 8th week. Okay, we need 50 units of product P1 in 8th week. So we need to explode the product requirement of each sub assembly and component. So from here we can see we need 50 units of P1. So for 50 units of P2 we need 50 units of S1 and 100 units of S2. Correct? For 1 unit of S1 required 1 unit of C1, 50 unit will require 50 unit of C1. Similarly, 1 unit of S1 require 4 unit of C2, so 50 unit of S1 require 200 unit of C3 and C2, and similarly C3 we need 50 unit of C3 for 1 unit of S1. Similarly, for 1 unit of S2 we need 2 unit of C4, so it will be for 100 unit we need 200 units. Similarly here also we need 200 unit, and for of C6 we need 1 unit. Okay, so we need 100 unit here. Okay, so this is the total requirement planning of each sub assembly and each component of this final product P1. Okay, this is how we can identify. Now we will come to manufacturing resource planning, that is MRP2. Okay, as we know, material requirement planning MRP was strictly restricted to material and the parts planning whose calculation was based on master production schedule. Okay, so now we are integrating other software packages to MRP to create a more integrated PPC system, that is production planning and control system. Okay, and these software packages that are evolved from MRP itself became known as manufacturing resource planning or MRP2. Simply, this manufacturing resource planning can be defined as a computer based system for planning, scheduling and controlling the material, resources and the supporting activities that are needed to meet master production schedule. Okay, so it's a kind of closed loop system. Closed loop system means it is depending on feedback of different outputs that integrates and coordinates all the major function of business to produce the right product or at the right time. Okay, so we can say simply this MRP2 is the integration of various software packages to the MRP. Okay, the sum of the applications that have been added to this MRP2 system are the quality control, maintenance management, customer field services, warranty tracking, marketing support, the supply chain management and distribution management, and product data management. Okay, so this product data management is closely related to CAD and CAM, means the design and manufacturing of based on computer. That includes, and this also includes the data filing and retrieval, the engineering changes, data capture, engineering data capture, and other features related to product design. Okay, so product data management contains the data related to design and manufacturing of the product. Okay, next we will see the various application modules of MRP2. Okay, where we can use this manufacturing resource planning system. Number one is management planning. Okay, so this function includes the module of business strategy, aggregate production planning, master production scheduling, rough cut capacity planning, and budgeting. Okay, so the in management planning the different modules are these. Next we can use in the area of customer services. So this module includes the sales forecasting, order entry, sales analysis, and finished good inventory. Next application is operations planning. Okay, so this operation planning includes the capacity planning requirement. The output of operation planning consists of purchase order and work order releases. Okay, next application of MRP2 is operations execution. Okay, this includes the purchasing, production scheduling and control, work in process inventory control, shop floor control, and labor tracking, labor hour tracking. The next application is financial functions also. So this includes the cost accounting, accounts receivable, accounts payable, general ledger, and payrolls. Okay, so these are the different areas of application or modules of application modules of manufacturing resource planning. Now we'll see the software packages related to this MRP2. Number one is enterprise resource planning. So this word enterprise denotes the packages that goes beyond manufacturing, and this includes the areas of maintenance, quality control, and marketing support. Okay, so enterprise resource planning adds all the areas of production system. Next software packages customer oriented manufacturing management system, that is COMS. So this software package are organized in three major phases: planning, execution, and control. Okay, the modules in the execution phases are known as manufacturing execution system. Next software is manufacturing execution systems. So this includes typically the production scheduling, quality control, and material handling. Means the execution system, manufacturing execution system contains the execution product execution phases like scheduling, quality control, and material handling. Okay, next is customer oriented management system. So this is itself coined from the COMS software. So one of the originator of COMS has coined this. He started his venture in the field of market software and services, where the more general clients where use this software other than manufacturing. Okay, hence the word manufacturing is removed from this. Okay, so these are some of the software of MRP2. Okay, as we know commercially that we have multiple software available with wide range of applications and wide range of features and prices in the market, and they deliver the various applications. Okay, and the cost of the software itself is only a small portion of total cost that can be ultimately paid by the user company. Okay, so these other costs include the training of user company personnel in the operation of specific MRP2 package. So the user company has to the invest the money in the training of their people. Okay, next, the cost will be related to interfacing of this MRP2 package to the other software of production system and databases in the user company. Okay, so this interfacing will also require money. Okay, so this will also include the cost related to this interfacing. Third will be the cost related to reprogramming of this MRP2 software packages to customize it to other company system. Okay, so means this was the cost that is indirectly associated with the purchasing of this MRP2 packages. Okay, so this was all about the MRP2 software packages. Clear? Next, we will see a simple example, another example on MRP2, MRP or material requirement planning. Here we can see there is a product structure for the end product P. Okay, this is our end product as shown in figure. We have also given the data regarding inventory on hand and scheduled receipt of these final product and its sub-assembly and various component. They are asking the requirement of T for which we should place an order in order to produce 1000 unit of P. So we need 1000 unit of this product P and product P. So the question is asking how many units of T we will require. Okay, so as we can see, for producing 1 unit of P we need 3 unit of Q and 2 unit of R. So for producing 1000 unit of P we need 3000 unit of Q and 2000 unit of R. From this inventory data we can see we have inventory on hand 200 for Q and scheduled receipt 100 for Q. Okay, totally we have 300 units already for Q. So we need 3000, we have 300 already, so we need 27 overall for Q. So we will place an order of 2700 units for Q. Similarly for R we can see 200 R inventory on hand and 200 on 100 on scheduled receipt. So totally we have 300 units also for R. We need 2000, we have 300, so we will place 1700 order for R. So now we can see we need T for making Q and T for making R also. Okay, so making 1 unit of Q we need 2 unit of T. So for making 2700 units of Q we will need 2700 into 2 units of T, that is 5400. Okay, similarly for making 1 unit of R we need 2 unit of T. So making 1700 unit of R we need 1700 into 2 unit of T. So totally we will need 2700 into 2, that is 5400 units of T for Q, and so 1700 into 2, that is 3400 unit of T for making R. So totally we need 8800 unit of T. So from the data we can see we have inventory of 200 for T on hand and scheduled receipt of 100. Totally we have 300. So 300 we have, so we need 8500 units to be ordered to make 1000 unit of final product P. Okay, so this is how we can calculate the requirement of each parts inventory. Okay, so this is the solution for the question for this question. Okay, this was all about the MRP2. Thank you.